Hey Hodies, welcome to my channel. My name is hautemesstom, and thank you so much for just what is happening? Why did I do that? My name is my name is okay. Let's just try this. Hey Hodies. Hey Hodies, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom. Okay, hold on. Let's try to do this like a normal person. Hey Hodies, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom, and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're gonna look back a year ago in 2022, the purchases that I made in December of 2022, and I'm going to reflect on them and tell you whether or not I think they are a good purchase. So don't say anything about the year 2022 being in the title. That is correct. Anyway, so I bought 3 things last December, and I just want to reflect on the feeling of actually shopping last December. So I did like a very strict budget in 2022. Before that, I had done a no buy 6 months. And so the budget was to keep me on track, to make sure that I wasn't overspending. My relationship to purchasing makeup is a little bit different now. I still try to be very cognizant about what I'm spending on my makeup. And I'm not buying outrageous amounts of makeup, but I get PR now, which is like different than it was last year. I think I got a little bit at the end of or at some point last year, but I'm not even sure that I did. But this year I've gotten PR. I make more money on YouTube, so I have a little more expendable income for the purposes of buying things to review. I have been keeping track of what I spent this year, and surprisingly, it's not much more than I spent last year, removing the Makeup Forever purchase that I made, which was solely to do a review. Like my makeup purchasing, like for me and like the small things I purchased for my channel, it's kind of been exactly the same as what I spent last year, which is kind of bananas, actually, when you think about it. I really like doing this series because it helps keep me in check with whenever I am buying makeup to make sure that I was actually being discerning. And if I did make a purchase that I don't feel so great about last year, what can I learn from it in retrospect? Now, I know that not many of you probably budget the way that I did on YouTube last year. I highly suggest it, especially if you're someone who struggles on overspending, specifically on makeup, tracking how much you're actually spending, writing it down and seeing it on a spreadsheet and being like, okay, so that's how much I spent last year on makeup products. It's very enlightening, and I highly recommend trying it if you've never tried it before. When you start tracking it, you are just automatically going to be more discerning because you know if you only give yourself so much to spend and you're seeing that money being deducted every time you make a purchase, it's really like, okay, so I guess I've hit my X amount of dollars this month on beauty. I bought 3 things. 2 of them were from one purchase. One of them was a separate purchase. Last December, I remember it was like the end of my budget year, and I knew I wanted to end up under budget, right? Like I knew I didn't want to overspend. And I do believe towards the end of last year, I kept going over by like a handful of dollars or a couple of cents every month. And I was like, I am not gonna finish this year over budget. I'm not gonna finish this budgeting year over budget, not my penny, you know? I think I was like pretty close to being exactly at my total budget for the year. I mean, that is what happened. That's how things played out. So the first purchase I made last year was from Phyto Surgence. Now, at the beginning of last year, I made a Phyto Surgence purchase, and then they had released some things throughout the year that I thought about, and Phyto Surgence, of the brands that I really love that I have like I hold in high regard. Phyto Surgence is one of the more affordable brands that I really like. Their blushes run about 16 American dollars, and so like it's not like a very exorbitant expense. They released their toasted blushes last year, and I knew I wanted to get my hands on at least one of them. Now my blush collection of these has grown a little bit since I bought this one, but this was the first one introduced into my collection. It's actually what I have on my cheek now. I wear it quite a bit. It is the shade Condensate, which is this blush right here. And it's this weird color, right? It looks like a weird color. It's like, what is that? But on me, and it looks like that, and it looks like it's going to be really dark, but I think this is actually one of the ones made for fairer skin. If you have cool undertones, it kind of is just like this flush, where it's not like a red flush, which I think a lot of blushes emulate like red flushes, but I think if you have like very fair, cool undertones. Like this is actually what you tend to flush like. It doesn't end up being like bright, bright red. Like, of course I've turned bright red before, but like when I'm cold or whatever, like I feel like this is like actually the color that I turn. And it looks just really natural on the cheeks. It looks like it's gonna be really bruisey, and it's just not bruisey at all. It lives right at home on my skin. I've said this before. I will say it again. I will say it until I'm blue in the face. The Fenty Surgence Skin Sparks are my favorite cream blush. They have so many beautiful, nuanced shades. They have the toasted blushes, which are like, that's, I mean, in my opinion, that's where it's at. But they have like beautiful, like regular color blushes too that like you would find on the mass market. Like they just really have it honed in. I really, really love the brand. Just the Skin Sparks are where it's at for me. And Condensate is a blush that I just can throw on and I know it's gonna look good and I know it's not gonna look overdone and it just is gonna live at home. It looks like it's gonna lean more cool toned, but I've worn it with warm toned looks and it looks just fine. And neutral looks, it looks just fine. It kind of goes with everything. It's really honed in. The second thing I bought from Phyto Surgence was one of their Flash Fluorescence eyeshadows, and it's the shade Fractal Frisia. You can see it. Look at that. And this is like an eyeshadow topper. Now, I was just watching Cam's video, and they were like, I think I have hard pan. I never have issues picking up product, even though that's there. But it's just a very sheer, maybe a little bit well, I don't know. There's not much of a base to it. I use this as a topper. I would say it's like more of a champagne topper. I probably would use it with like neutral or warm leaning looks as opposed to something more cool toned. Like, and I've been very into cool tones. I go out of my way to use Fractal Frisia quite a bit. It's one of those things that feels like it's like that wet look, but there's like the sparkle chunks in it. It's really beautiful. Now, the reason whenever I originally reviewed Phyto Surgence, I didn't buy the cream eyeshadows because historically cream eyeshadows don't hold up well on my eyes. I found that this year that there are formulas that are very, very good for cream shadows, like cream shadow sticks, that I have gotten on quite well with, and even some like liquid gel shadows that I've gotten on with quite a bit. And I'm happy to say that the Phyto Surgence eyeshadows, even on my greasy eyelids, hold up very well. If I just put them on my bare lid, they don't hold up as well as if I have prepped the eyes either with eyeshadow primer and set that primer or like over another cream shadow. Like today I have one of the Flash Fluorescence. It's the Starlight, whatever, Starlight. That shade, that's what's actually on my eyes today. You might not be able to see it with the glare of my glasses, but I didn't feel like putting contacts in today, so you get a funky pair of glasses. These are from Zwool, so I will try to remember to link them down below. Every time I wear a new pair of frames, people are like, tell me more. I don't think I've worn these ones yet. I've had very good luck with these. As I'm simplifying the way I'm doing eyeshadow, and I think this was like my first kind of like foray into testing whether or not I would want to downsize the way my eyeshadow palette collection and just have like singles and a handful of palettes, which is kind of where I'm at right now. It's an eyeshadow that like just like lives in that realm and showed me like, you like really sparkly eyeshadows and you don't really care about color. Like color's not your thing anymore, and I'm like leaning into that, and like I still play with color occasionally, but like not in the same way that I used to. And so what's really important to me in eyeshadows, if I'm gonna do sparkle, is like texture. I want varying textures, and I just think that like with Fractal Frisia and any of the Flash Fluorescence shades, you just get really beautiful sparkle. And it's like I can do a very simple smoky eye and just throw that on the lid, and it's a real crowd pleaser for me and everyone else. It's lovely. I now own all of the Flash Fluorescence eyeshadows. That speaks for itself as someone who like doesn't buy as much eyeshadow as I used to. Now, I have bought more eyeshadow recently, but that's for a number of reasons. To me, like, this is like creme de la creme kind of eyeshadow, in my opinion. And the last thing I bought last December was this. I bought this from Nordstrom, and I remember having a gift card for it, and that's how I was able to round out the year with 3 purchases. And this is the Sunbeet, the Sunbeam Cheek and Eye Shade in the shade Ray from Chantecaille. And I think this retailed for $80. I believe I paid around $60 for it. So that's that right there. I mostly wear this product as a blush. This was something that during the summertime I really shit talked, and then a lot of my friends bought it and they were like, it's really good. And it was just like confusing to me that the report back was like people were finding a lot of value in this product. And then I was like, well, I feel like I have to know. And I wasn't sure if I'd be able to find it because it was a summer release. And you can still sometimes find this at retailers. Like, they still have stock of this in some places. If I can find it, I'll link it down below if you are interested in purchasing this and you missed out. It just kind of look like a butthole. But I like it as a blush. People wear it as a bronzer. I think it works well as a bronzer. Like, if you want to just put one cheek product on, it's also shiny enough where you don't really need highlight with it either. It's a beautiful eyeshadow. It's kind of like an all-in-one product. And I wasn't expecting to feel that way about it, but it's like one of the things that lives. I put it in my cheek drawer because I typically wear it on my cheeks. I don't, sometimes I'll throw it on my eye, but I mostly like it on my cheek. I mostly wear it as a blush because there's something about this shade. I feel like depending on your your skin tone, it like reads very differently on each person. There's like a pink, like a warm pink that comes out. It still has that like orange tone, but there's like some pink that comes out. So I just love it as a blush because it's like nothing else I really own. And then the fact that it's like beautiful and it just gives your cheek this glow. It's one of the few times where I feel like Chantecaille making a color product has kind of nailed something that feels universal. Now, obviously, someone with a very deep complexion couldn't use this as a bronzer, whereas I could wear it as a bronzer. But like, I think even on a deeper complexion, this as an eyeshadow is going to look really nice. It's not like there's like a white base or anything to it. It's really lovely, and I like the packaging of it. I know that some people found it kind of hokey, but I thought it was kind of fun that Chantecaille like went with this like neon. I don't think I have to say, but in case I do, I think that somehow in December, at the end of my budget year, even when I was feeling kind of like I needed to spend money, even though I didn't need to spend money, and this could have ended up as being really bad purchases, all three of these products are standouts in my collection still. I think of them all very fondly. This is kind of out of season for me right now. It's, I like this better in the summertime. It has like that warmth. I really nailed it with these purchases. I feel like every other month that I have discussed my budget last year, there has been one or two products where I went, that one was a mistake, or that one doesn't feel very good. It wasn't a bad purchase, but there was definitely something to be learned from it. It's kind of nice to see at the end of a year where I was doing a beauty budget for the first time and really trying to be more discerning with my purchases, that at the end of the year, I bought 3 things with the end of my budget, which I didn't have to spend the end of my budget, but choosing to spend the end of my budget and nailing it with each purchase felt really, really good. All of them could have gone awry. They could have, but none of them did. Yeah, these are stars in my collection. Truly stars in my collection. So I have no regrets about any of the purchases I made last December. So since this is the last one of this year, I'm gonna keep doing this into next year. I didn't keep as strict of a budget this year, and I talked about that at the beginning of the year. But because talking about what I spent my money on at the end of the month, now with where my channel's at and like talking about PR that I brought in, like that came in too, I feel like it doesn't have to be specifically money based, just because I do the Let's Play with Makeup series, and like, I do all of those series so you can kind of see what's coming in. And then I do those like top drawer, like let's declutter my top drawer, like let's start reviewing things in my top drawer, so you get to see everything multiple times before it like leaves my collection, unless it's something that I can truly consider to be a dud and I have like no interest in trying more than once, and I let you know when that happens. Yeah, so we'll continue this series next year. I'm excited to continue it next year. I do need to like go through all of my videos from this year and just make sure that I have everything tracked. I think I have everything up until like August tracked, and I think I do need to go back and kind of put it, but there was 2 months this year where I didn't spend any money on makeup. So that's pretty interesting too to think of, because I sometimes do get overwhelmed with the amount of makeup I have, only because I have one face and I have another job. So I can't always be changing my makeup and trying a bunch of different formulas all at once. So I do what I can. So like when it probably will happen again next year, like when there's months where I get like an exorbitant amount of PR, or like a brand sends me like their whole line or whatever, like that kind of happened this year. It's like, probably won't buy anything those months because it's like, let me really get my head around those things. Anyway, all that to be said, thank you all so much for following this series this year. We're at the end of the year, so it's like we're wrapping some series up. This is the last video of this series, so this year, don't, it's just this year. We'll start up again in January, and I'm excited to. And I also really love these videos for me as a content creator, where it's like, this is something very easy for me to do, but it's also, I think, a worthwhile activity to do. But like, from an editing and recording standpoint, these videos are like, they're always the ones that I pre-record to throw up on a day where I don't want to do anything, which is always great. But if you happen to be new to my channel and you haven't really caught the vibe of what I do here, my channel is focused about loving my makeup collection as it is first and foremost, while being discerning about what I invite into my makeup collection, what I choose to buy with my money. But I also am very discerning about what PR I choose to keep and what I choose to pass on, because not everything is going to hit it out of the park. I want to have a makeup collection that I want to use everything in, and that's really what I'm trying to do here. I do get PR to review sometimes, which I don't have control over, but I get offered it and then I take it and then I tell you about it. Sometimes I will purchase makeup explicitly for review. It might not be makeup that I was personally interested in, but my audience was very interested in it. So it was like, we'll do this, we'll figure it out, I'll do it for you, you know? Because as a content creator, I like to be a resource for people as well. I let you know when that's happening. I let you know when I buy something explicitly for review. I let you know when I'm buying something because I'm just excited about makeup. Like that, you'll see it come through. Anyway, all of that to be said, if you enjoy that kind of content, would love to have you subscribe and make sure you like the video. Share it if you'd like. I'm on patreon.com if you'd like to support me there. It's patreon.com/hautemesstom. Over there I do some additional content. It starts at $1. Everyone who gives $1 or more gets the same benefits. So even if you're paying me $100 a month, it's the same benefits as $1 a month. I'm not saying you should give me $100 a month. I'm just saying that you could, but it's the same. My podcast with Kackie of Kackie Reviews Beauty is also over there. If you don't have any money to support me on Patreon, or you just simply would not like to support me on Patreon, that's fine. No hard feelings. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're commenting. I'm happy that you're sharing whatever you're doing, liking the video, doing all those things. Really great ways to support me. But anyone who's ever been a patron or will be a patron in the future, or that is currently a patron, thank you so much. That really helps me out and gets this channel to run the way that it does. I'm on Instagram at hautemesstom if you'd like to follow me there, and you're not already. I mean, I don't really do a lot over there, but you can follow me over there. And I think that's that. Oh, merch. That's down below. I'm wearing merch today. The I don't wear pink sweat crew neck. Man, if you weren't here for the I don't wear pink era, I don't really talk about how much I don't really care wearing the color pink anymore. You're probably like, what? But there was like a whole year and a half where I was like, I don't like pink cosmetics. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to follow your haute, and you'll find me. I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye-bye.